Hello there, Common Wolfram here. This is the last video I'm uploading from Sprit Croatia, and it's also exactly 200 days until the release of The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, the 20th Zelda game and the game that we've all been waiting for almost 6 years at this point, and which will release well over 6 years after Breath of the Wild. So what can we really say about this? Well, the marketing has really started now that we have the title, release date on May 12th, and of course the official logo, and a lot of teasers tied to the game. But what are we still lacking when it comes to this game? Well, for one, a proper trailer. And that I mean not something that lasts for 1 minute and 30 seconds and where less than a minute of it is actual gameplay. And even that is saying it wrongly, because we haven't had any gameplay when it comes to this game. Nothing which would have any sort of HUD, hearts or text or anything that would give us a hint of how this game will feel when we play it with a controller. Yes, we have seen that the visual design and also fonts from Breath of the Wild are being continued in Tears of the Kingdom, but we don't know about the HUD. Is Calamity Bold, or the equivalent that Nintendo is using, coming back? Will the hearts look differently now that we're not using the Sheikah Slate any longer? There's just so many questions that are still left to be answered when we are 200 days from the release. 200 days before the release of Breath of the Wild, we knew a lot more. We had official gameplay, we had fonts, we had hours of demos from E3 2016, while now we have literally nothing. Our best hope for a booth seems to be PAX East in late March, so around 1.5 months before the release of the game. Which makes this a very different marketing cycle, and also the series a little bit different one, as in this unscripted series we'll be counting down to the release of the game. So be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Well, of course, this was unscripted, so it came a little bit later in the video. This October we also got the statue at Nintendo Live in Tokyo, and where that statue is now gone is a big question. It might be going to Nintendo Osaka, where they are opening a new store on November 11th. And I'm actually going to Osaka 5 days later, as I'm landing in Osaka on November 16th. I will probably, if the statue is there, definitely do a recording and include it in a video. But it just shows that more and more physical is coming on the stage. The question is, how much more? Because we are now in the end of October, well, almost at least, reaching Halloween. And the prospect of seeing a new Tears of the Kingdom trailer is still months away at this point. Which is understandable, as Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, a very similar experience, open world, non-linear approach from Game Freak, is coming out on November 18th. So I do not expect that much before that point. But at the same time, we also know that Nintendo wants to gain more market shares in the West, as they've been losing pace recently to the PlayStation 5 and even Xbox Series X. They're not dominating like they're doing in Japan, and that is why the focus now needs to be on the West. And Tears of the Kingdom is a perfect example of that, even though it ironically represents more of Japan than any other Zelda game prior. But what we see with this statue, and also the 200 days that are left to the release of the game, is that things are about to begin. Not necessarily today, not tomorrow, but hopefully before the end of 2022. Because come November 12th will be exactly 6 months away from the release of the game. But I don't expect a trailer then, because we're just too close to Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. And that is the main obstacle in the way in order to get news on this game. They're just too similar, and Nintendo knows this all too well. That is why, after this release in November 18th, the Game Awards 2022 seems to be the most likely stage. The question is whether Nintendo is ready or want to return that. But on the other side, it makes sense now that we have a title and a release date of the game. And the first gameplay for The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, back then Zelda Wii U or Zelda Unknown, in 2014 happened at exactly the Game Awards. And the next big gameplay demonstration of, you guessed it, the Zonai Ruins, happened exactly at the Game Awards 2016. So yes, there is a big opportunity here for Nintendo to bring this game back to the table to a more general audience, as the Game Awards has grown exponentially. We talked about last year about the potential showcase of the game at the Game Awards 2021. Of course, things have been going a little bit slower. We've gotten a delay and have to wait until May. But it is still before E3 2023, which means that the marketing, also outside of Japan, needs to speed up, unless Nintendo has planned the entire marketing cycle for The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom from January to May, and then beyond, with say DLC announcement at E3 2023. But what do you think about this all now that we're 200 days away from the release and counting down closer and closer to 150, then 150, and eventually to the release itself? And what do you expect to see in the next trailer or gameplay showcase of Nintendo? Sound off in the comment section down below. And yes, that is pretty much it, because there isn't much else to talk about. Yes, we've gotten a nice statue, since that Link's hand was completely replaced as the previous one was ripped by Malice. But other than that, we haven't seen much of this game, and hopefully that will still change in 2022. So in the community I've added a poll when we'll see this game again. Will it be before the Game Awards, at the Game Awards, or first in 2023? If you haven't already, then be sure to leave a like, subscribe and press that notification bell to not miss any of our upcoming Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, Nintendo, and Inside Zelda Tears of the Kingdom gameplay videos, and far more to come. And last but not least, a big thanks goes to you for watching and to all our patreon.com/commonrealm patrons, and in particular our role producer Charles Shesh. You rock, and please enjoy one or both of these two awesome videos.